Meet the Corgi crew. Pip was a Corgi. He was very brave. He had short legs, but he had a big heart. Pip loved adventures. Squeak was Pip's best pal. Squeak was fluffy and Squeak was very, very smart. He could open doors with his nose. Wiggle was another Corgi friend. Wiggle, well, he wiggled a lot. He wiggled when he was happy, he wiggled when he was excited, and he wiggled even in his sleep. It was super funny to watch him wiggle. Then there was Zoom. Zoom was the fastest Corgi. Zoom loved to run. He ran everywhere. Zoom, zoom, zoom went his little legs. These four Corgis were best buddies. They did everything together. They chased squirrels together. They dug holes together. They even took naps together, piled up in a furry, sleepy heap. One day they heard their humans talking. "Caribbean vacation!" said the humans. The Corgis' ears perked up. "Adventure!" The Corgis were very clever. They packed their tiny bags. Pip packed a brave face, Squeak packed his thinking cap, Wiggle packed extra wiggle room, Zoom packed his running shoes. Well, not really shoes, just his fast paws. They snuck into the humans' big suitcases. Zip! They were hidden. It was a bit squashy inside, but it was also very exciting. Soon, they felt the suitcases move. They were going on an adventure. The humans did not know. Oh no! They thought the Corgis were at doggy daycare. Ha! Little did they know. The Corgis were world-class sneaks. The suitcases rumbled. Then they lifted up. Up, up, up they went. The Corgis guessed they were on the plane. Pip peeked out a tiny hole. He saw clouds. "Wow," he whispered to Squeak. Squeak nodded wisely. Wiggle started to wiggle with anticipation. Zoom bounced a little, ready for action. The plane ride was long. Brrrr, went the engines. The Corgis got a bit bored. "I'm hungry," whispered Wiggle. His tummy rumbled like thunder. Pip agreed. "We need snacks," he declared. Squeak, the smart one, had an idea. "Follow me," he woofed quietly. He used his super nose. Sniff, sniff, sniff. He sniffed out the way. They wiggled out of the suitcase. Oh, so carefully. Tiptoe, tiptoe went their little paws. They tiptoed down the aisle. No one saw them. The humans were all asleep or watching movies with silly headphones. The Corgis were like tiny ninjas, short, fluffy ninjas on a mission. Squeak led them to a door. It said, "Food storage." Oh boy, their tails wagged very fast. Squeak pushed the door with his nose. Click! It opened. They peeked inside. Their eyes went wide, so wide, it was a magical place. Inside there were boxes and bags and more boxes. What was in them? The Corgis sniffed the air. Sniff, sniff, sniff. It smelled wonderful. It smelled like sweets. Yes, chocolate bars, lollipops, gummy bears, cookies with sprinkles. It was a treasure trove of sugary goodness. Pip licked his lips. Squeak's glasses almost fell off his nose from excitement. Wiggle did a super wiggle. Zoom zoomed in circles. This was better than the Caribbean. "Jackpot!" barked Zoom, but very quietly. They had to be sneaky. They couldn't wake anyone up. Pip, being brave, went in first. He grabbed a big chocolate bar. Squeak found a giant bag of colorful candies. Wiggle discovered a box of cookies. They were shaped like little airplanes. Zoom, with his super speed, gathered a pile of lollipops. It was a feast. A secret Corgi feast in the sky. They were so excited they could hardly breathe. Their little hearts went thump, thump, thump. The Corgis started to eat. Munch, munch, crunch. Pip ate his chocolate bar. Yum, it was so melty. Squeak crunched on the colorful candies. Red ones, blue ones, green ones. Wiggle gobbled the airplane cookies. He pretended he was flying. Zoom licked his lollipops. Swirl, swirl, slurp. He had 3 in his mouth at once. Oh, the sugar. It was so good. Too good, maybe. Their tummies felt happy, but their brains felt zippy. Suddenly, Pip felt super strong. He felt like he could lift the whole plane. Squeak felt super smart. He felt like he could invent a new kind of bone. Wiggle started wiggling faster than ever before. He wiggled so much he spun around like a top. Zoom felt super, super fast. He zoomed around the food storage room. Vroom! He ran up the walls a little bit. It was a sugar rush. A big, crazy Corgi sugar rush. "Woohoo! This is the best!" shouted Pip, his voice high. "I feel amazing!" barked Squeak. His tail was a blur. Wiggle bumped into a stack of juice boxes. Crash! Juice went everywhere, but they didn't care. They were having too much fun. Zoom did a flip in the air. Well, almost a flip. It was more of a jumpy tumble. They licked up spilled juice. They ate more cookies. They found some whipped cream in a can. Psht! Whipped cream everywhere. They were covered in sugar, and chocolate, and sprinkles, and whipped cream. They looked like walking dessert platters. Pip had a gummy bear stuck to his nose. Squeak had a lollipop stuck in his fur. Wiggle was wearing a cookie box like a hat. Zoom had trails of sprinkles following him wherever he ran. They giggled and barked. They rolled around in the sweet mess. This was much more fun than just sitting in a suitcase. What a party! Suddenly Squeak had a very smart idea. His sugar-fueled brain was buzzing. "Friends," he announced, "the Caribbean sounds nice, but I have a better idea." Pip, Wiggle, and Zoom stopped their sugary chaos. They looked at Squeak. His eyes were wide and shiny. "What is it, Squeak?" asked Pip, licking chocolate off his paw. "Let's go to Miami," Squeak declared. "Miami has beaches and sunshine, and maybe more snacks." The other corgis cheered. "Miami, yes, but how?" They were just little corgis. Pip puffed out his chest. "I'm brave," he said, "and strong from sugar." Zoom bounced. "I'm fast. I can press buttons." Wiggle wiggled. I can be the distraction." Squeak nodded. "Perfect! To the cockpit!" They marched out of the food storage, 4 sticky hyper-corgis on a new mission. They tiptoed past the sleeping humans again. They found the cockpit door. It was closed, but not for Squeak. He jiggled the handle with his teeth. Click! Inside, 2 pilots were napping. Oh dear. The corgis tiptoed in. Zoom, super fast, jumped onto the control panel. Beep, boop, whir. He pressed all the shiny buttons. Pip tried to wear a pilot's hat. It was too big. It covered his eyes. Wiggle started doing a funny dance to keep the pilots asleep. Squeak looked at the map. He pointed his paw. "There, Miami!" Zoom pushed a big lever. The plane tilted. "We!" the corgis giggled. They were flying the plane. Sort of. The plane changed course. It was now heading for Miami. The corgis high-fived with their paws. Success. Soon they saw land. Bright lights, big buildings. It was Miami. The plane landed smoothly. The autopilot helped a bit. Shh! The corgis slid down the emergency slide. Whoosh! What an entrance. They ran onto the tarmac, barking happily. "Miami," they yelled. They saw palm trees, they smelled salty air, and maybe, just maybe, they smelled a hot dog stand nearby. Adventure continued.